by Bill McDowell. The book Love Life is for all those people who need advice on ways to make their lives better and happier. There is a saying that positive and happy people look at life through pink glasses. This book can show you how to reach this target and lead a better life in the world whilst enjoying every moment of your presence. The first chapter gives you the most important lesson about the life. To forget about yesterday's events and moments and not to think too much about the future, but to concentrate on the present, and live in present. It doesn't mean to live your life day by day literally, but to understand that the best you can do for your future you can make in the present. The second lesson is in the second chapter. Learn how to see and love the details, because they are what makes the whole picture, the real life. If you miss to see the small things and enjoy them, you simply can't enjoy your entire life. The third chapter draws attention to the point that every person should strive to gain the maximum of their life, and in doing that ensure that they will be happy with their past and enjoy their future, living their life in the full aspect possible. The next chapter is of course a subsequent step in our path to happiness as explored in the entire book. Keeping in mind what we described above, we are reaching to some tips and techniques for making your life unique and happy, for which many people can dream of, but you are the one who knows how to manage it in the best possible way. Keeping our advices will make you love your life and would never want to change it with somebody else's life. Next chapter shows you something that many people don't see in time, the fact that health is the most important thing in our lives. Every time we hear or say it, but we don't fully understand the great meaning of this saying. This chapter will remind you that if you are keen on living a happy life, you must be ready to make all efforts to make it healthy. You have to be healthy in both body and mind. It is absolutely true that positive thinking is the bottom line for a healthy and happy life. 12 points just like the 12 months in a year find their space in Chapter 6. They are some basic tips for learning how to love your life. The next chapter reminds you what the meaning of the time is. On a daily basis we are used many phrases like, time is gold, time is the most expensive recourse, and time is never enough, and so on. And it is the real truth. This is why we have to start being in the moment, because whatever we do, we can't make it come back. As a continuation of the previous chapter, the last one will prove to you that the present is the most important thing in our lives, because you can act and make the changes you want. What is impossible to be made in the past, and we are never sure whether it can be made in the future. So the best thing we can do is to live in present, enjoy every minute and love life with all its details. The book offers to its readers a bonus chapter that could be named, What You Should Not Do to Make Your Life Better and to Love It. The chapter outlines 10 bad habits which overshadow the happiness present in your life. The important thing is not to forget that we live our lives only once and must do it in the best possible way, loving each moment of it, and to be able, when you look at your past, to be glad of it. Introduction. Congratulations for downloading the book, Love Life, Live Life and Be Present in the Moment. You took the very first step in making your life better and happier. The book presents several lessons for happy life, a life that you will definitely love. It is very easy to love your life. Maybe some people just should be learned and showed. The book contains all tips, tricks and techniques that you need in order to reach the target. Live life in the present, take the maximum of it and love details. Actually, it is much easier to live in the present than in past or future. The present is important because through it you can manage and change. This is like a dough play, you can mold it. On the other hand, the past can't be changed, and you may miss to manage your future if you miss the present moment. This is why the book draws your attention to the major issue. Live in the present and you will love your life. Enjoying the details is another aspect concerned in the book. It shows you that sometimes our mind plays games and we miss to see some important details, but see some small issues more important than they really are. Thank you once more for downloading the book. Why I wrote this book. I decided to write this book to underline to many people what is really worthy in life, to encourage them to look for their happiness and to strive to enjoy life to the maximum. Happiness is hidden in the small details, so don't miss to enjoy every small detail and every moment of your life. It is not difficult at all to make your life healthier and happier, and in the end the result of your efforts will be the fact that you will feel you not only like, but also love your life. The book one wrote shows you that life is too short to miss it while regretting any past experiences for the past or overly thinking about the future. It is better concentrate on the present and enjoy every second of it. Reading it may help you see that it is worth to take your life in your hands and mold it in a way you like. If you don't love your life, perhaps you are not looking at it from the right corner, so change your point of view and things will take their right place. Why you should read this book. This book outlines what you should do to make your life better and enjoy all the moments of it. Remember that life is like sand falling away through your fingers, and you have to make all the efforts to live it in a way you will love. Again, like the sand, life is made by the small details, as the sand consists of many small grains. You will find useful advices in the book to help you enjoy and love your present life. Do not focus on past or on future, think and act in the present moment, because it is only through this way you can steer your life in the right direction. Remember that happiness is next to you. This book will show you what you should do to leap forward and grab a life you have always wanted for yourself. If you live happily, you definitely will love life. Copyright 2014, all rights reserved. No section of this ebook may be reproduced, disseminated, posted, or distributed by any media, form, or means, digital, electronic, mechanical, or through machine photocopying, visual or vocal documenting without explicit written permission from the author and the publisher of this book. Disclaimer. All the information given in this ebook has been designed to serve as a guide regarding the subjects discussed herein. The ebook is not designed to be used as a diagnostic tool for treating any kind of medical condition. To diagnose any medical condition, you should approach a trained medical professional or a physician. The author and the publishers cannot be held responsible for any medical condition, illness, health problems, or allergic reactions, or conditions that require immediate medical supervision, and they should not be held liable for any damages or negative consequences from treatment or application to any person using the information provided in this book. The references provided in this book are intended for information purpose only, and they do not imply endorsement of these websites or sources by the author and the publisher. The readers are requested to be aware that there might be changes to the websites listed in this book. Table of Contents. Why I wrote this book. Why you should read this book. Introduction. Chapter 1. Live and Present. Chapter 2. Appreciating Details in Your Life. Chapter 3. Gain from Your Life Maximum. Chapter 4. Learn to Love Your Life. Chapter 5. Healthy Life as the Basis of Happiness. Chapter 6. 12 Basic Lessons and Spiritual Rules to Make You Love Your Life. Chapter 7. How to Love Every Moment. Chapter 8. Present Time is the Most Important for You. Bonus Chapter. 10 Small Habits That Steal Your Happiness and Love from Your Life. Bonus Chapter from the book, Be Happy. How to Let Go. Conclusion. Recommended Reading. Chapter 1. Live and Present. Our life always takes place only at the time called the present. In contrast to the present, the past and the future events are happening in our mind's eye only in the form of memories or simple ideas. Ideally, Can you eat the memory of yesterday's meal or the ideas of tomorrow's lunch? Could you love someone yesterday or tomorrow, or is it going to be in the past or perhaps in the future that you can tell it to the person? Even though whatever happens is happening only in the present, these present moments are the only realizable spirit when one deepens in it. This is experienced by almost every one of us, when we perhaps felt a fervent love to someone, survived awe of something extremely beautiful, and deep happiness, which was concealed by our breath, or even in critical situations where attention was immediately required, or during hazardous situations when it was absolutely necessary that you act immediately. In such situations, a person is very much alive in the present, attentive and aware of everything that is going on, and thoughts cease for a moment. At the very climax of sexual energy and power, it ends the world of sense and enables the human to survive and be alive at the moment, although it is often because of the exclusive reason life is not normally capable of. However, it is an experience of eternity in the present time, which fills the human with luck, and not living fully in situations in which it happened. Also, a good joke can get a human to experience the present. The human mind pursues text joke and wants to be, as always, wise. Joke ends illogical, completely different, as expected, and reason for a while resets and deactivates. Then a person can gain from the moment of joy of survival in the presence of laughs. Musicians who stay in the state of attention. You could say, the better the musician, the better his or her awareness to life, or that the less thought, the better the capacity to give a good musical rendition. Musical ideas set in and become expressed because the human brain is quite slow and does not respond to the rapidly changing rhythm, tune, beat and tempo of the music. Demonstration of how the music can hinder thinking is the story of the pianist, who was always tremendous at concert stages, and he made many mistakes while he was playing. When a teacher after the show could not stand it anymore, he told him, "Do not keep giving importance to what others think about you, but play. Play because of music. Relive it to the fullest, as if nothing else except it exists." He said these words to him so strongly, and subsequently stopped concentrating on what the audience thought of his playing antics. In the absence of thoughts of what people think about it, the jitters disappeared and he was no longer mistaken. The more intense he was able to perceive music, the more sensitive he played music. In the end, he became a famous pianist. Similarly, it is in different areas of life. People who are attentive, they notice in their work the little things that others overlook due to constant thinking. It is these little things that will bring them essence to imperfection, making them eventual champions. Such people are then said to be intelligent, talented, and they have the capability or have received an offering from God. No success due in particular to the fact that they live more in the present and less in thought. And this gift of ability to perceive the spirit and live in the present vigilantly, we got everyone equally. Those who used this gift just did not bury their donated talent. To live in present requires you to be free from the endless exchange of ideas, which usually overlies with our innermost consciousness, because if a human without ceasing is still rational and thinking about issues, spirit does not have the opportunity to perform itself. From the existence of what is surrounding us and inside of us going on, we see only a very little part, even very shallow. That is why many people's present life is not pleasing. No wonder, when you almost do not notice it at all. In order to stay away from confusion, it has to be mentioned that the use of reason as an important mechanism of thinking when we need to perform certain things right is necessary. We have it for this purpose. Similarly, it is important to remember the past and take a lesson based on it, and as a targeted plan for the future. However, all is right, if only we are constantly living on the thoughts of the past, The vision for tomorrow, which can only really change anything, suddenly escapes. What it was a year ago, a day, an hour, or even a second ago, is just a thing of the past. Similarly, on whatever has happened, we can't change anything. Why, therefore, assume the old head around the situation, what we did and did not do, what we should do and refrain from doing, or couldn't, and imagining how it would have been if we were done one way or another? Many times we think even for others, and we put them into fictional situations. Likewise, the vision of the future is only our desire. Our future will undoubtedly be guided by what we think in the current, what it is in your thoughts, words and actions create in the present. So why should you live in the past and in dreams of the future? Indeed, it is stealing the life that only happens every moment of the present. All the precious moments as they pass us, without them we survived, and they filled us with happiness, and opportunities for change for the better unnoticed. Life in the memories and imagination, in addition, there creates a misery, because human defines his or her life by imagining narrow boundaries, creating the concept of time. Suffering is only possible in the fallen creature's psychological time, which is generated by comparing. Then it was good, but it ended, and who knows how it will continue. Human compares the situation with past with the dreams for the future, or distant past with the recent past, such as the situations of the past with the current happenings. And the presence of yet undetected goes on, and the human is troubled. He or she is then suffering only by the exchange in life of living in past instead of living in present. When I am at the workplace, I am constantly thinking about my girl, but yet when I am with her, all I can think of is the work. So, what should I actually do? Many people have similar problems. Because it addresses thoughts always something different than what is happening, and it does not bring them life satisfaction. If a person is constantly living in the moment, none of the unpleasant things bring upon misery on him or her. Psychological distress arises only by thinking about living situation and comparing. After all, when someone walks in the street, it does not matter if what happened in his or her life was an unpleasant event, such as a partner walking out on them. Will flowers, trees, and buildings around him or her change when he or she does not have a partner anymore? As for thinking about things that happened, he is not thinking that there is absolutely no pain. If you live in the present, you see the life as such, and it manages to complete you with happiness. See flowers in their simplicity and natural beauty. Feel subtle scent, which spreads into surroundings. Reproach them for the caring hand of the talented garden and the life force that flows through all and everything animate. When a person starts to live in the moment, the present, there is absolutely no cause for pain and suffering. The nature of ideas is always not positive, and that is often not true as well. When you sit down to reflect on the things that happened, who said what, we put into situations our very own opinions about ourselves, and also about others, and their properties can adjust or complete fabrications that we smuggled into our tale, whilst building while the actual event, but these are often stored in memories, which have also been distorted and modified. We have become masters at that and often do not even realize what we are doing. Mother says to son, "I have this thing borrowed which I forgot to give back," and she informed me that she was in urgent need. What did she just think of me? I admit that I also mentioned, I only give priority to the single program on TV, or I can provide her with monetary compensation for the damage and repair. Then all of a sudden the right idea comes to mind. I was not able to give it back to her yesterday because I couldn't walk. I had a sprained ankle. Do not laugh, because you see how my feet are. That only she stepped on the wrong foot, and even in the evening, somehow forgot. After a few hours, she is finally leaving to return borrowed and saying goodbye with the son. I am going to return it because yesterday I could not because of the sprained ankle. The astonished son looks on. Mom, but you have made it up. There, right before me. Do not talk to me this way. It was so. You did not even notice that your mother was ill, and you just walked faster that way, and not do anything at home. I am going. Human reason cannot penetrate into the presence of the moment. It is very slow and tedious. It is, however, achievable to make your own world separate from real life. For many it seems like a more convenient solution than to live in eternal presence, therefore, prefer to languish in thought creations. However, if you continue to survive in past memories and imagination, or fail to live life actually, just think about it. Not being able to stop constantly analysis and worrying is a problem that affects most people. We are creatures of enslavement own thoughts. In addition to the thinking that was not even perceive what we are performing, if not we would be possibly damaging the chance of life on this planet and suppress remains our spiritual capabilities that perhaps more could be awakened to life. Let us remember that the physical mind is tied to the material world. This implies that the opportunity to live in the imagination, it means that we have created, once for everyone of use irrevocably over. There will remain only what revived by very own existence in the forever present. Chapter 2. Appreciating details in your life. Start to live and count each day as one life. Seneca. I am not rich, do not zip across the world. I do not consume alcohol with rich and popular people in colorful destinations, or do not have a super costly car, large house, or even yacht. And yet I am very happy. Much more happier than I was a few years back when I was eating all the time deep dry food and candy. I always experienced being unhealthy and extremely overweight. I suffered. I am much happier than when I was watching TV and I was not in shape, when I shopped a lot and I was always in liability, when I was working in a company and a job that was not very well paying, and I did not have the time for myself and my relatives. How did I achieve it? With some tricks. The reality is that you do not need a lot to be able to live comfortably, and you only have to have the perfect attitude. Here is what I learned about how and why to live from the few, but to live great life. 1. You do not need too much to be happy. A few simple meals, humble abode, a few pieces of clothing, a good book, workbook, meaningful work and loved ones. 2. Require less and you will never be poor. You could have a good bank balance and property, but if you keep wanting more, then you surely are poorer than the next person who has very little to call his own and wants nothing more. 3. Concentrate on the now. Stop constantly worrying about tomorrow and sticking to the past. How much time do you spend thinking of material things rather than dwell on the moment you are in and what you are doing at the moment? How often do we actually live, and how often we use to sponge off thoughts about other things? Live in the now and live to the fullest. 4. Be happy with what you possess and the place you have reached. Very often, we all want to be elsewhere, perhaps, doing some other things and with different people other than the people we are with, and we want different things than what we presently possess. Where we are, is still amazing. This, of who we are, it is also perfect. We have enough of everything, and what we do is already great. 5. Be grateful for the life of small pleasures. Strawberries, a piece of dark chocolate, some tea, these are the common and simple pleasures that are so much bigger than big desserts, sweetened beverages, or fried foods. You just need to learn how to enjoy these things to the fullest. A page turner borrowed from the nearby library, walk with your partner in a park, a morning run, memorable speech of your children, and smile to a stranger on the street, walking on the grass barefoot, that moment after sunrise when everything is just starting to wake up. These small pleasures are the key to how to live well and without the urge to have more of everything. 6. Be driven by joy, not fear. People are faced by fear that they will not miss anything, the dread to change, or anxiety that something will be lost. They are not the smart choices to do anything. Instead, do things that you or others bring joy and pleasure. Make your work rather be driven by excitement of performing something unique, thoughtful, precious, and that need not be to maintain your lifestyle and scared to make a difference to it. 7. Train your compassion. Compassion for others creates a loving, honest relationship. Empathize with yourself to forgive your past mistakes. With each well-treated, this includes healthy eating and exercise, and have like yourself as you are. If you should take one thing from this chapter, I wish it were this: do not forget to live. Every day is a gift and should not be cluttered with all sorts of activities. Run your time on activities that would make you enjoy your day as well, to enjoy what you do. Productivity and objectives are indeed very good things, but if you forget to live yet, you will not do any good. How to find happiness in just 3 steps. We all know that money does not buy happiness, but many times, we act so that we would be happier if we had more money. It is natural that we want to be rich, even though we know that rich people are not the happiest. We want to have the latest version of any style or what television offers us. We want to earn more money, because then we will have a good life. However, none of this will bring us happiness. Regardless of the amount, whether you have too much we have in the account, the same no matter how expensive are our clothes, cars or toys, and none of it really will make us happier. The sad thing is that searching for wealth and luxurious things will take us decades before we get them, if we ever get them. So what will bring us happiness in life? Fortunately, there are 3 things that do not cost anything. These 3 cases were verified in surveying hundreds of thousands of people about what they have, about their lives and how they are happy. Here are 3 secrets of how to find happiness. 1. Good relationships. It is our natural desire to be with someone close to you, have a more intimate relationship. Good, strengthening relationships, strong marriage, or close, loving relationship with members of your family will make you more likely happier. 2. Positive thinking. Obviously, I am a big supporter and promoter of positive thinking as the best way to achieve goals, but it turns out that it can also leads to happiness. Optimism and self-esteem are some of the best indicators of people who live happy lives. Happy people have absolute power over their own lives and have a positive outlook on your life and its continuation. Steps. Grow a habit to think positively. Basically, it would be for you one of the first habits that can unfold. Get into the habit of strike all negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. Instead of, I cannot, I do not know, you think of, I can, I know. It may sound corny, but it worked for me always. 3. Flow. It is nowadays a well-known concept of the internet. The state in which we receive when we are totally focused on the job or role that we do. We are totally immersed in our roles, so that we lose track of time. To have a job and leisure that you come into this state almost undoubtedly leads to happiness. People find the best feeling of satisfaction, not when they are passive and do not think, but when they face a challenge. Steps. Find a career or a job that you would not only enjoy, but make you feel fulfilled. Really, this is the most important step. Find hobbies that you enjoy. Turn off the TV, it is just the opposite. Flow. Go out and do something that you really employ while materializing. Now you know the 3 secrets to happiness. Do not miss them. Chapter 3. Gain from your life maximum. Life is to be explored to the maximum possible extent. Limits are not limitations when you do not allow them, with the burning desire to cross to the other side and not to look behind it, throwing yourself fully to life. First, let's focus on today. Let us live in just one day. Yesterday is gone, leaving only lessons until tomorrow comes. Therefore, let us live fully in today. Second, let us live on the edge, receive new challenges and throw ourselves into the adventure. Record your victories, new discoveries, and insights. Let's be an inspiration for others. Love all the people. Do not search for reason to love. Love yourself and respect anyone who tries to do the same. Accept all for who they are. Be nice and polite. Despite the differences, respect others. Regardless of their faith, share the love and unity. Understand that the second should be embraced wholeheartedly with respect, without any discrimination on age, background, race, or status in society. Do not be envious of anyone. Those who themselves hold grudges, they will not place for joy. You cannot live life to the fullest if the mind keeps negativity. Let us find meaning of life passionately, and with courage and eagerness follow it. Our purpose in life is the primary reason why we live, and how to discover satisfaction. In relationships, work and social life does not happen only in the position of the recipient. Let us do it immediately. Let's be kind and truthful. Let's be realistic. Realize what is achievable, how much time it takes, and if it ever goes to catch. Know your limits, weaknesses, and mistakes. Let's live in harmony. Understand the difference between a bad attitude and a good attitude, lifestyle and knowledge. Let us examine the pros and cons of what comes our way. Keep your positive thinking, positive approach to life and optimism. Control and edit your own path, if necessary. Take responsibility and never cease to learn from experience. Be ready to arbitrate, but only slowly change our decisions. Listen to your heart. Let's listen to others, but let the heart decide. You need to rely on your knowledge, which does not destroy the other. Absorb the sounds and calm the mind. Let's focus on spirituality. Meditate, to refresh and encourage our thoughts. Let's be carefree. Let us not allow our emotions to empower us. Place it over the outer impulses, and decide on your life consciously. Do not forget to smile. When you cannot do something, just smile. If you still cannot, please take a joke. For each situation, flexibly respond to changes, whether coming directly from other people, or there is a change in economic conditions, location or weather. Let's learn to put the past far behind and get used to life here. Make a list of short-term goals and daily follow them. For example, meeting new people, visiting the park, etc. Forgive yourselves and others, because it is the only way to defend ourselves from negative impulses. Let's be honest with ourselves and our friends. Appreciate whatever you can, even if it was the little things. Be careful to our environment. Always believe in something in our own religion. Faith and hope never dies. Follow your goals and do not give up. It's best to make a list of the things that you want to do, and how and when you want to achieve them. Do not settle for temporary defeats, as they have come, and we must overcome before we climb on the highest level. Let us be aware of when we are following tangible goals. Be yourself. The satisfaction of yourself is not the real version of yourself. So let us be ourselves and pull the best. Do not blame others for our misfortune. Instead, let's think why we dared to be unhappy. Learning from mistakes and let the whole incident behind us. Increase our emotional intelligence. Let us learn and never stop. Face fears of new things that get us mastered. New knowledge does not bite. Chapter 4. Learn to love your life. To be more efficient at work, for example, but also in personal life, the easiest way to accomplish this is to be happier. Happy people, they say, can do more. And if you think this is easy to say, but hard to do, do not believe it. Beth Cooper from the company Buffer says it is necessary just to keep the 10 proven steps. 1. Do a workout. 7 minutes a day is enough. According to a research, 3 small teams of patients were treated from depression by medicines, physical activity and a mixture thereof. Outcome of the study was surprising. Although all 3 groups achieved similar improvements in health status, significantly different turned out to be their follow-up assessment. After re-examining their status with the passage of 6 months, the 38% of those who receive only medication went back to depression. 30% of patients treated with a mix of both measures of depression also did not dig out. Shock, as it was found that of those people who were treated only, exercise was returned to its original state only 9%. The reason of these results was quite simple. We just need to exercise the brain to release endorphins and proteins that make us happier. 2. Sleep more. You are far less receptive to negativity. Psychologists explain the positive effects of sleep and the fact that people that lack sleep equip themselves with negative rather than positive memories. According to one research group of sleep-deprived college students, they could remember to 81% of the negative connotations of words, such as cancer. Similarly, however, remember only 31% of expressions with positive or neutral sense, as a sunrise or basket. 3. Spend more time with family and friends. Money does not buy happiness. What is among the biggest regrets of dying people? If your answer, it must be that little time spent with family and friends, you hit in the black. Such moments are rare even for the biggest introverts yearning for happiness. Several scientific studies have proven it. George Valiant answered on the question of what gave him the study, said, "The only thing that matters in life are relationships with other people." Another scientific work published in the popular journal of Socio Economics says that the relationship extrapolated for money may be costing more than $100,000. British Household Panel Survey, again miscalculated. The improvement of social ties are settled annually £85,000. On the other hand, the increase in real income, happiness amplifies minimal. 4. Do not sit at home, and go out. Psychologist Sean Atcher recommended spending more amount of time in clean and lively air. It relies on a study stating that 20 good minutes in fresh air in good climate started a positive mood, and also improved thinking and working memory. A similar conclusion came by American pundits of the American Meteorological Society, or the AMS, in 2011, even published research, according to which the current temperature much greater consequence on the sense of happiness than, for example, the speed of wind and the amount of humidity in the air. 5. Help to others. 100 hours a year is a miracle number. What can make a person happier than that, if you make another happy? And the best when you spend 100 hours a year, or say, 2 hours a week. Attending a concert or dinner with friends is better than shopping. 6. Smile. It reduces pain, improves mood and thinking. Who would have said that such a small movement in the face can perform so many good things? And not to mention, when accompanied by a smile and positive thinking. A study by Michigan State University, U.S., workers have to smile or just pretend to have a worse mood and affects their productivity. However, If you smile at the thought of things such as holidays, it has a significant impact on happiness. A study by Johnson in 2010, while entering tasks aimed at attention, better finished participants who were laughing. And rather than individual trees, he saw the entire forest. 7. Planning your trip. This will help you, even if it remains only a consideration. Daydream may also be paid. If the law is not enough money to go on a dream vacation, try to prepare it at least on paper. Another important study in the journal Applied Research in the Quality of Life has shown that just over-planning a trip emerges greatest happiness. This feeling lasts for allegedly preparing to 8 weeks, while returning from the fair leave quickly return to a normal routine. 8. Meditate. Link your mind with luck. Meditation is often considered an important factor in the improvement of concentration, clear thinking, and a sense of peaceful induction. It turns out, however, that it is also helpful in inducing happiness. A team of renowned researchers from the Massachusetts General Hospital came up with a study in which brain cells watching the group of 16 patients, their activity before and after attended the 8-week course perceived meditation. According to the results of the participants, those parts of the brain that bind to compassion and self-awareness were increased, while the area of the brain associated with stress was reduced. 9. Shift your residence more nearer to work. Less time for transporting counts more than the big house. It may sound paradoxical, but the closer you are to work, the better for your happy feeling. Challenging traveling to and from work because we consume so much that any of us get any twinge of happiness. And it does not matter whether you go to work by car or public transport. 10. Practice your gratitude. It increases the feeling of satisfaction and happiness. There are many ways to practice gratitude. You can write in Notepad, "Grateful for what you have," tell partner 3 good things that happened to you during the day, or simply to express its gratitude when someone gave you a helping hand. Such a feeling of well-being and blessings, according to one experiment, has a major impact on emotional and interpersonal benefits. According to the study, the Journal of Happiness has again shown that people who for 3 weeks have written 3 letters on the subject, for what they are grateful, increased sense of happiness and life satisfaction, while depressive symptoms subsided. Chapter 5. Healthy life as the basis of happiness. We should completely omit alcohol. You do not want to toil in the gym daily for that price that you could eat anything. You should diet, but you are afraid that you hate the world. Here are a few tips to lose weight, maintain a nice line, and not have it out depressed. In short, you can be painlessly fit and enjoy life. Just follow a few guidelines. Interestingly, they will not hurt. 1. Smaller servings. Have for dinner a partially full bowl of salad. You do not have to eat a large portion as usual. A pile of vegetables does not mean that you will save vitamins. When you eat slowly, your brain quickly realizes that the stomach is full. 2. Choose a meal at home. Before you go to dinner, choose what you give at home according to the restaurant website. You will not have to browse the menu again, and thus you will not attract traditional goodies, such as a hamburger with fries. 3. Half of the portions with you. If you know that your favorite restaurant makes 2 large portions, order a half portion quietly home and half portions on the plate. Try to avoid that. You will be eating the whole meal on the one time and you will be full again. 4. Write a diary. Create a plan of what you eat for a week. You may not realize what you eat during the day. Written plan can help replace some food and happen to you that you reached for something else. 5. Interleave soda drinks with friends. Go to party and do not want to get drunk while gaining weight. Attention, alcohol is very caloric. Interleave drink soda or water with lemon. It has no calories and no one knows that you do not drink alcohol. 6. Coffee? Only latte. Avoid coffee with cream and put up with rather double latte foam. Save 100 calories and extra foam saturates each sip. Visually it is like then. 7. Go for a walk. Take a short walk after work around the block. Just 10 minutes, so blood supply to your heart and you will not have the right to return home in a feeling of hunger. 8. Water fills. Before each meal, drink at least 1 glass of water. Then you will eat less and you will have a greater feeling of satiety and reduced hunger. 9. Make portions. Be smart about portions. When you eat chicken, it should be the size of a package of cards. You should serve it only with 3 cubes of cheese, and 1 serving of bread the size cartridges. Still remember the audio tapes, right? 10. Do not focus only on food. When we sit in a restaurant, a lot of tastes, smells, and objects remind us of different foods. Do not look around and focus only on who is sitting there with us, ensuring that it is then that you order something you should not. 11. Apple on hand. Have always 1 apple with you. When you growl in your belly, bite into it and chew it for a long time. Prevent hunger. 12. Regular sleep. Treat yourself every night for at least 8 hours of sleep. Not only do you know that the 8 hours you're rummaging through the fridge, but when you are relaxed, you will not have much appetite for sweets. 13. Yogurt in the fridge. Whenever you get a craving for a dessert or other sweets, keep in the fridge a little plain yogurt. When you will want something delicious, you can reach for this. 14. Toothpaste after meals. Brush your teeth right after dinner. Dentifrice suppresses cravings, not so greedy, and you will not tempt you to gluttony at night. 15. Do not go hungry to the supermarket. Never go shopping when you are hungry. Always treat yourself to get something to your tummy. When you will be hungry, you will buy the foods that you did not want and you will regret it. 16. Do not serve on the table. We all have liked to serve food on the table and gradually add. Avoid it. Get your meals on the counter in the kitchen and eat only a serving you have assigned to you. If you have additional portions of your eyes, it will be just unnecessary temptation for you. Chapter 6, 12 Basic Lessons and Spiritual Rules to Make You Love Your Life. The art to become a master in loving your life. All life lessons are focused on managing the situation within ourselves. Lesson adoption is not about acceptance of people around, but the acceptance of self. Achieving mastery means that if particular process's attribute stops for our lives bringing the problem, the difference after mastering the lesson will be revealing that you can now recognize and know what they need to do in a certain situation. Changed the direction of energy. No one is a good or bad person. This is just a way to make our lives intact. The girl may have written on her forehead, "I have weak boundaries. Let disturb them." After mastering, the lessons will broadcast the same message, but it will be no longer manipulated and it will not be for her to pose as a problem. 1. Acceptance, confidence, self-acceptance and adoption of the kind of art. The people working on this lesson, you will see as victims and to jam in this drama. Energy blocks appear as sabotage, when the person gives the impression that he or she did everything right, and yet in the life, nothing works. This one can be very creative, but once the energy which transforms or turns back to us, have difficulties to accept it. These people suffer from lack of self-esteem. The primary cause of these feelings is the belief that they are worthless. These people can be very strong, even if unconscious resistance to other people. Embracing the arts allow us the energy to flow. If it starts to flow, it is pure potential. Adoption is the art of getting energy flowing through your own being. It is important to allow the energy to flow through us in all possible ways. If we look at areas in our lives where energy is blocked, it may be that blocking the adoption. These people have difficulty accepting responsibility for their own reality, so it is important to learn to accept the reality of the way things are, and realize that you can create the life you want to live, that each can be satisfied. 2. Adaptation, change. Our natural nature is able in a short period of great change. What prevents change? Our physical form. Lesson: adaptation involves coping with change. Changes mean obscurity. If you do not know what can happen, we feel that we have lost control of the world, and loss of control likened to impotence. When faced with change, it is good to remember that no change is possible to achieve higher vibration levels. These people are doing everything they can to keep their lives under control. They believe that to achieve success, they must keep everything up to date, unchanged, i.e. under control. These people perceive their mind, but forget about their feelings. They think about all thoroughly before they make a decision. For these people, something drastic must happen to realize that something is amiss. 3. Being. A complete existence. The people working on this lesson spend a lot of time looking for external things that might merge with the self, or trying to live in a way that would give them the feeling that they are integrated. In some cases, these people have to find or take something that they lifted the mood. Some people in this situation forfeited eat to feel safe. Others are obsessed with their appearance, and other studies fail because they believe that getting diplomas will allow them to be who they want to be. Whatever you decide to do, it can easily go wrong in obsession or addiction, which is a perfect way to learn the lessons. Dependence means that these people are looking outside of themselves, things that help them feel once. For those of you trying to achieve wholeness through relationships, eschew such efforts in the relationships that are based on dependence. These people are totally dependent on each other. Both believe that none of them is complete without the other, and that the integrity retains only when they are together. The problem lies in the fact that it is impossible for two people to develop at the same rate, so it is only a matter of time before the second one starts to grow developmentally, and the other partner inevitably sees partner enough. There are situations where people are so injured that they have to spend most of the life in self-defense mode. People who have decided to combine the mastery of several roles in a single life can suffer severe emotional injury already at a young age. These souls can build a wall around their hearts and then send out a huge part of their energy to manipulate people who are behind these walls. When they reach adulthood, they become masters of manipulation. The problem is that they are so good that you do not even realize it. They often attract people who have a problem with the definition of the border. People who have a problem with being overweight are not able to perceive its beauty. We need to learn to respect and love our own body. Find in ourselves a sacred place where you can just be without, but you still try to be something or someone who you are not, where you will learn to appreciate what they already have, and enjoy it. Find what you think you are missing inside. Lesson being often precedes the lesson true. Accumulated life experience that compels the soul to cope with being the lesson, give a lesson of truth. If you do this, will feel the difference in your energy field, and then in your life. 4. Charity, harmony. Charity means to honor the connections we have with all people, and practice it at every activity. When our actions honor other people, we develop. In order to apply charity, we must first learn to put some borders to our energy. It depends on where a person's ability to concentrate. When you are focused inward, we see people working on lesson and philanthropy as utilitarian and selfish. Due to the lack of connection or turning into yourself. Whatever you do, fail to fulfill desires. We may seem callous. Ones we can feel only in the case when we are connected with each other. For these people it is difficult to establish a connection with others. If you are turned outward, relationships serve them to compensate for their weaknesses. It may seem that they want to be the center of attention, and may be working hard to be loved. These individuals are gradually alienating themselves and have the ability to suck people in the immediate vicinity. Once you have mastered this lesson, find that happiness achieved through connections with other people, not an attempt to ensure that everyone loved. They must learn to feel this connection. The key to unlocking the energy footprint is to find a balance between being attentive to their needs and be sensitive to others, strengthen the links that are present among us, and all, who surround us. 5. Communication, honesty. Lessons in communication are defined within the realm of relationships. To cope we need to select a suitable partner. The aim of the partnership is to supplement the self with someone else, but to learn to walk side by side and experience life together without wearing we're two dependent partners. The essence of a good relationship is honesty. People with this problem have lessons speaking since childhood. They have speech problems. If you make progress in managing lessons, learn to communicate quite well in the end. Yet for them, it remains an issue to express what they have to say. Words to express feelings, and will do so honestly, as well as uncover desires and needs. It is not easy for them. They tend to back away from communicating through the veil of silence and silence whenever they are tired, stressed or under pressure. These are ostriches who bury their heads in the sand at every possible opportunity. Even in cases where the two lovers meet again, with whom they have spent several previous lives, their problem lies in the fact that you do not acknowledge the need to express their feelings in words. These lessons often are selected for men. For several millennia suppressed the men in our culture, our feelings as to how the new energy flows through us, they change. These people still think, and then something happens and they do not know what to think. Often obscure the difficulties with communications, such as my verbosity. It is important that these people discovered what felt and learned their loved ones gradually say how they feel and what they feel. Here begins intimacy. Then, and others begin to open around this human. Then, the workaholic may become a human, which really depends on the family. 6. Creation. Expression of personal power. Because we live in a field of duality, we see that we are the creators, and thus holding back the creative force in our thoughts. People working on creating a lesson to forget their work, tend to be totally blind or have a problem into practice. They may be artists who have over the years worked in great work, and then when the first show, they are shocked that someone wants to buy, they take the first offer you get. Or is it clever to be a secretary by a project, do everything and eventually the manager receives all recognition? These are often women who hide their creative skills in front of their partners, or women who create through their husbands. The belief that they will have bad luck, and usually perfectionism provides the latter with a perfect excuse not to try yourself or form. These people can take in the past belief that the creation must not commit mistakes. The real problem arises when the creative force of repression. Soon there is huge internal pressure that causes a backflow of energy. The body comes under tension, which results in physical illness. If a person does not form a problem with confidence, ask yourself the question, what is my passion? What heats my heart? Is it okay to make mistakes? Loved me someone so much that the love allowed me to make mistakes? You need to enter your passions, express your divine talent, and let yourself be the best expression of the universe. How can I be, which in itself opens the door to success. Being in his power and take responsibility for your talent. Stop to enjoy the rest and put yourself first. 7. Boundaries. The expression of personality through their borders. The people working on this lesson, they tend to perform a healing practice and have a great emotional empathy. These people readily penetrate into the emotions of others through their behavior patterns and radiated energy, and often do not even realize that the energy that you feel does not belong to them, because they have trouble with that for themselves. Clear moral boundaries. If these people leave the relationship and cannot solve this system, create the same relationship. These people often have strong energy and weak boundaries. The key to mastering this lesson is to learn the art of asking yourself to the fore, otherwise their energy badly directed. Learn to define their boundaries and get used to their own I put in the forefront at all times. It is not light unless you throughout childhood say they think the other is wrong. Put yourself in the foreground is giving it precedence over your own children, spouse, siblings, friends and colleagues. There is a distinction to be selfish when the intent is to fill oneself at the expense of all others, and be confident when I fill myself in the first place, because then I will have more to offer to others. After these people learn to say no, become the powerful healers. 8. Integrity. Living in harmony with the self. Have you ever seen on television someone, and despite what he said, sounding quite logically, for some reason you cannot believe him? It happened to you that you are talking with someone and your feeling is clear that his feelings do not match with what he says? If yes, then you probably had something to do with the person who worked on the lesson integrity. Each of us has many components that need to be integrated and compared to transmit one consistent vibration. Lesson integrity can be defined as the ability to compare all aspects of the personality so that the things formed are harmonious, vibrant and integral to life's line. In the energy field of each person, there are 4 lines of vibration. They are gentle waves that transmit unknowingly. It is an energy vibration that precedes us before we enter the room. Friends who call, thanks in advance guess at it, that it is we whom to phone. These 4 vibration lines reflect what we say, how we act, what we think, what we believe. If you are in full compliance, sending a very clear signal that in every situation helps to exercise the highest potential. If one or more power lines are incompatible with each other, the vibrations that transmit are blurred and unclear. Sometimes one vibration line overlaps the other, and obscures the overall signal that we send into space, and our actions have uncertain results. We have other problems to believe or understand. We may look confused, with the result being doubt on ourselves. A good example is the actor who is utterly convincing in the role. He can be very talented, but for some reason do not accept his power, so in the show cannot really take. Something is wrong. However, I cannot name you, causing unpleasant, suspicious feelings, as if in question lied or acted honestly with us. If we reach the vibration of unity, we relate to others and make ourselves ready to combine and merge with the higher self. We will learn to live in complete inner harmony. It is important to tune into your vibrations. Interestingly, many people who deal with the lessons of integrity often choose professions that allow them to move in the public eye, and they are athletes, politicians, or healers, which underestimate other people, and let yourself be tempted by charlatans, false leaders and other leaders with ulterior motives. Ironically, it is this disharmony can often that we attract these people. We were drawn to what is almost perfect, but there is a tiny, tiny flaw in the ointment. These deficiencies cause slight inconsistency fractions, which literally hypnotizes us. Persons who are solid never attracted much attention because they aroused in us an interest in human weaknesses. 9. Love. Self-love. The key to mastering the lessons of love is that we learn to love unconditionally in the first place ourselves. Love is the foundation of what we call universal energy. All of us see this energy as a basic emotion of love. Emotions represent the link between energy and the energy matrix tube, which passes through life. People working on this lesson are trapped in a vicious circle of fear. An example is a person who lives by various conspiracy theories and fearsome scenarios. These people often give the impression that they give love everything and everyone. The problem is that they do it out of fear to be left alone. These people are afraid to be alone, so looking for someone who is loved and where they can get love. The trouble is that they are looking for love outside, and not inside, and often, they feel empty inside, and therefore often fall in love. It is good if the person working on the lesson of love asking yourself, would I be in love with someone who feels empty inside? Would I like to be another piece that fills another void? These people often subconsciously and happy experience inner life dramas, and some of them want to stay, because it is too difficult for them to build their emptiness. The problem is that their motivation is fear of being alone. They fear the emptiness inside themselves. We must learn to love, but we must start from within and extend it outwards. God is inside, not outside. Previously, most of our relationship was based on conditional love, even our marriage vows. In the higher vibrations, we experience more unconditional love. The more unconditional love we put into our relationship, the easier for these relations will rise to meet the higher dimensions. 10. Confidence. Confidence in yourself. A person working lessons and trust chooses a positive catalyst. They work to facilitate trust, give them the courage to believe that they can achieve anything they want if it will be enough to pay. If people choose negative environmental catalysts, this person is abused, ensuring that quickly unlearn trust surroundings and myself. Trust lessons requires that we first of all, learn to trust our own and then the other, to learn to accept and maintain their power. After mastering the lessons, trust, these people appeared as if they were walking through life with a kind of inner sense of direction. They always look and act as if they know exactly what they are going, and eventually learn to trust each other so much that they no longer rely so much on reason. It is interesting that few of us have trouble believing in God, and virtually everyone, but we have a problem accepting that God is in all of us. To master the lesson of trust, it is very important, because trust us to realize that we are part of a whole and puts us right into the flow of universal energy. If we lack confidence, we lack faith. When we learn to trust the world, you cannot afford to be vulnerable. And once we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and defenseless, transform our weakness into strength. From the crystal children are now born, we learn that vulnerability is the source of our greatest strength. 11. Truth. Responsibility. People working on the lesson truth have difficulty recognizing truth and stand up for it. They tend to accept others for their truth. They have problems with judicial and stand in their power, often looking for the newest book concept, a system that could follow. Truth. Weakness. If you are in the early stages of the championship, we are usually able to be honest with yourself. It is a difficult situation because we never know what in fact we are, so we are forced to measure themselves with others. Not only is our true elusive, but moreover, we create illusions to rationalize their decisions. These people are looking for any possible way to get rid of the responsibility for their actions. Often catch in traps and seek guidance outside ourselves instead of getting to know yourself. Sometimes it can be difficult to honorable behavior towards others. They lie and make excuses instead of honestly assess how their life. In many cases, they live in a fantasy world. Big problem arises when people start to believe their own lies. It is then separated from the self. When working on the lesson of truth to a higher level of mastery, it is quite common that we become teachers or leaders who are able to include many kinds of truth without attachment to one of them. Mastering this lesson leads to the realization that the truth is fully dependent on our perception, and that only through our shift in perception we can see much more of the truth behind our own. Brutal honesty. This lesson can only be met by that together we will be brutally honest. This means that we accept full responsibility for our own thoughts and actions. This does not mean that these thoughts and actions must be perfect. We need to make our own. Once we begin to take responsibility for their own reality, we become masters of truth. Example: a lot of parents with children trying to create happy, trouble-free home where maintaining status quo at the expense of their integrity and happiness. In terms of lessons, truth is important to determine for yourself what is really important for us. Through the eyes of others. Those who are newly engaged by the lesson, they see themselves through the eyes of other people. These are people who constantly judge by what, according to them, others think about them. Lesson truth is very hard to handle. Rather than judging people who work on this lesson, we should love unconditionally and applaud their courage. Mastering this lesson usually takes several lives, and his master who has a large influence on the shift of the whole human race forward. 12. Kindness. Life in harmony with the world. Kindness is the last step to mastery. One learns that the target is not important. That what really matters is the journey itself in kindness to the way we experience. To understand the importance of this lesson, it is good to ask the following question: how many mornings did I greet with a message telling the world how much I love my life and I am eager to see what this beautiful today will bring? When we really see ourselves as a player of this game and play this game with love, then mastering all remaining energy matrix not only easier, but also more enjoyable. You do not enjoy the life on the earth? It pulls you to somewhere else? You do not feel good in your body? If you have these questions answered yes, then you have mastered the lesson of kindness. People working on the lesson of kindness are looking for the widest view of the world, which can be seen as it is interested in how everything is interconnected. Not interested in the mysteries of life, they want to know only the secrets of the universe. On well with people and can also perceive the interdimensional links of each of us. As soon as they hear, see or begin to perceive in any form, internally arrive at the truth. This lesson reinforces the connection to the universal energy that runs through all things and beings. This connection allows us to understand time, space, and energy, which have experienced very few people in history. These people, however, feel that they are something special. They perceive things from a higher perspective. Get on well with people, are connected with other dimensions, and internally knows when they see, hear, or experience something true. Finally, we are not here only from what we mastered the lessons of life. In fact, life lessons are just a distraction, which has the task of keeping us in industriousness. These 12 basic lessons of life has not changed, but the changes are related to the experience of 7 stages of life, which is in the area of spiritual ascension says. The point is not to leave our physical bodies and move to a higher plane of existence. Ascension requires that we restarted a new process of life in physical form. For this reason, it is possible to begin to experience 7 stages of life during one earthly life. Imagine all your life experience and then decide you want to keep and pass on to the next life and you want to release. That is what we do in the 7th stage of life that comes after death. Imagine what it would be like if we could plan his next incarnation and conclude all agreements, without having to leave the current life. Would it not be the biggest evolutionary step imaginable? It is the next step in human evolution. The next step in the evolution of mankind is that babies are born, which have a higher potential than children of previous generations. Chapter 7. How to Love Every Moment. You may start by appreciating the air that you breathe, and that the act of breathing itself inspires you to love. And how would you show your gratitude for air? By relishing and delighting in every breath, of course. Focus on your breathing, an activity that you can enjoy for 17 to 18 times per minute. Breathing is sufficient for you to be always happy and in love. This is just one of the ways that you can take love. Every action in our lives can become a rite of love. Another way of expressing love may be communication. When listening to or telling a story, we can share our love. Try to find time to play in at least 1,000 ways to say, "I love you." And this love no need to explain or justify. Love just you and accept, without trying to understand it. If you face the challenge of opening your heart completely, then surely a miracle will start happening, and you would start to see a reflection of love, your love, in all things. Everything you do, become a rite of love. Once this happens, you do not just perceive and rejoice in life. You delight in all that you do because you love it. Living is wonderful and you are extremely happy. How can you trust someone who tells you he loves you but treats you badly? How can you tell someone that you love, while he wants to control your life and tell you what to do and what you think? How someone can say he loves you when you're jealous? We always have a choice, and by loving ourselves, then we are choosing love. We do not allow others to hurt us. If someone hurts us, he or she is doing it because we let him or her to do so. And we let this person to do it, because we think that we deserve it and that it is punishing. We call that, love hurts, as he hurt his own lies. And what of our struggles in romance? Everything is of no importance, for it is not true love but only a mere desire to love. If you open the love you get, and if this is not love, you can leave. If you weigh yourself, do not allow anyone to abuse you. Many people say to me, "I want someone to love me." Want to meet the right man or woman. And how do you determine who the right man or woman is? That depends on you. If you meet such a man and treat him as you treat yourself, that is selfish, then you use it to make you hurt yourself. How can we want a romantic relationship when we do not love ourselves? Even just merely pretending to love someone else without loving yourself is a challenge on its own. If you do not respect yourself, do not respect or your partner. As you can appreciate it when you do not respect yourself, how can you give someone something you do for yourself? Romantic relationship must start in you. Why? The reason is because you are the one who is responsible for your half of the relationship. When you value yourself, you value your partner. Love you and love you receive. However, if you meet venom partner want to hurt you, it is pointless. Human life is in proportion to the age of the earth, and the universe is very short. You never know what tomorrow will bring. Life is so short that when I see my kids, I enjoy their presence as I can. I enjoy the presence of their families, their friends, and their pupils. However, mostly I enjoy myself more. I need to, for the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life is myself. Why should I waste time by blaming myself and refusing of myself? Why should I even waste my time with feelings of hate and jealousy? When you do not feel well, I will find a reason to fix it. Then I was happy again and I continue my story. You must fall in love with the main character in writing your own love story. That is the secret of the old literary classics based on the truths of life. When you give yourself unconditional love, you will be able to explain everything that you reflect on. Regardless how simple, easy, and beautiful love may be, it must always start with you. Once you start loving yourself and start living acknowledging love, you will notice that all your other relationships will start to improve. Only a few people have the capacity to love consciously, but everyone can love without being conscious about it. Let us cite an instance. Whenever you see a toddler smiling back at you and you feel something inside you stir, it's love. Of course, your mind might tell you that the feeling might be something else, that it is not love. This is the reason why we love often but fail to realize it. Teaching love and respect are surely valuable lessons in life, but in order to teach them we must learn how to love ourselves first. Otherwise it is not possible. Love your life. Our life is a mystery. It surprises us every day anew. We have no second date like this. Not live any other day as it was today. Life is a premiere, every minute, every day. We will never experience life as at this time. When we last consciously perceived the smell of fresh morning? When we last enjoyed lunch and really enjoyed it? When we consciously watching the blue sky? Touch the life and taste it in every moment, look at all extraordinary and feel it in their sense of smell. Just in trivial matters. Enjoy the richness of life every day. Understand that fences and barriers of life are just learning the steps that we face with gratitude. Let's welcome regardless of whether we consider them to be good or bad, for easy or difficult. Make the obstacles springboard. Treat yourself gently, considerately and kindly. Let us be as happy as we can. Enchant your life. And impress someone. Touch again and again other people patronizing gesture of friendship and love. Assume you in critical situations always the crucial question, what would love do now? Let's start to take life as it is. Let's start at all times be clean, affectionate, attentive and aware. Leave one day this world in slightly better condition than that in which we found him at his coming. We have only this moment. Concentrate on your life. Surely, it already happened that you were sitting with friends or family, and someone at the table mentioned how time flies quickly. Of course, from the mouth of your grandmother sounds completely different than when sighs are pure, but it is true. Our life flies us before our eyes. One day runs for a second, and we, despite many of the responsibilities, somehow lose the feeling that we truly live. Why is that? Whole life is waiting for something. We get up in the morning and look forward to tonight, because we finally have a day off. On Monday, we are already looking forward to Friday because the weekend will be at the door. We are constantly looking forward to something, or we want to have something behind when it is an inconvenience, but we forget that you need to enjoy the present. The past is behind us, the future ahead of us, but we pay the slightest attention to what is current right now. Therefore try to stop or slow down and focus on the present, on our lives. Normal activities. Does it happen to you? Do you do many activities automatically as attachments and in the spirit of error a world away? Happens to everyone, but there are many activities where you should be the spirit. This happens especially when it concerns your loved ones. Pay the people around you. Enjoy the little things such as evening bathing their babies, or sleeping partner by your side. These are the completely ordinary moments of living that can conjure up a small smile on your face and your soul feeling of satisfaction. These are the moments where you can feel the love you receive in return you give. It is the moment where you realize for what you can be fate, or God grateful. Enjoy life, because you only live once. It does not matter whether the right exercise, cooking, or you are under fire, an infinite number of tasks. Fully lived life is not measured by the amount of successes that can be inscribed in the resume, not by the amount of the bank account. Constantly chasing and longing for something unattainable, happy you do not even far. After all, how many successful and the rich people are dissatisfied and unhappy, and just because you cannot enjoy life and those most ordinary things and moments. Forget for a moment where you are rushing. Your body and your mind will pay. Fortunately, not the physical does not pollute, and so with eyes closed and spirit can pass anywhere, for example, the tropical sandy beach, and listen to the murmur of the waves and palm trees. Chapter 8. Present time is the most important for you. We know that you enjoy reading very practical tips that you can use immediately and transform them into habits. So here are a few tips on how you can achieve to live more in the present. 1. Be careful. If you are waiting at the intersection or standing in line at the cash register, pay attention. Instead, make your mind begin to run forward and you start thinking about what you need to do, how much more you have to wait in traffic or wherever else you need to go. Stop and pay attention. Turn off the radio in the car and observe all the cars around you. Notice what people do in cars, listen to the sound of engines or birds, or watch trees. Just if you do it for a moment is a good start. 2. Watch. The next time you at the meeting, observe what is happening. It is more than just keep an eye on what the meeting attention you give because you have set up and used. However, observation is like watching a movie on the screen. See what people are doing at the meeting. Observe their body language. Listen to the words that highlight. Do not talk. This can be a very powerful tool because you are looking at the whole meeting as a whole. If you have a complete view of what is going on, notice how well you know to respond when someone asks you something. You will be surprised. 3. Breathe. Try to pay attention to your breathing before you fall asleep. Spend 15 minutes focusing on the inhalation and exhalation. If you feel that you fall asleep or that your thoughts going in a different direction, slowly go back to your breathing. The great thing is to lay down on your stomach and watch the book as a book rises when you breathe and how it decreases when you breathe out. 4. Meditate. Calmly sit down and motionless, in silence, sit about 30 minutes. Concentrate on breathing again. Drain all your thoughts. When you realize that your mind is trying to bring new ideas, go back to your breathing. Do nothing and think about nothing, just sit there. Follow these 4 steps and it does not matter in what order you do them. I am used to that. It is always prudent to begin with little steps and gradually add more. Soon you begin to realize everything you actively do. When cooking, do not think about what you have to do next, but stay focused on what are you cutting. When your mind is in the present, your energy flows into the activity you are doing. And it does not matter whether it is programming, singing lullabies to your children or dinner with friends. Get rid of any hang-ups. Depression and lack of confidence in the human may lie at an early age, or is it just a temporary condition caused by failure? Not only human, but also work or friends can be a trigger, unpleasant inner sense that each of us knows very well. The only person who can help you, however, is you alone. Stop blaming yourself. The biggest mistake you can make is to start constantly blame for failures that happen to you. Sure, you have a certain share of the blame, but you have to realize that things are happening in the world without action on your part, sometimes simply so. That you tick off the boss or boyfriend girlfriend broke up with you has happened because you are incapable and poor. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle, and everyone we bear some share of the blame. Do not try rationally assess the situation. The boss had a bad day and be your fault. Be more irritated than normal. Your friend might not have any hard feelings or anything against you. It just stopped working. In life, Things happen in no offense. You are not navel of the world to bear the blame for everything and could affect everything. Do not be ashamed. The next stage of self-recrimination is self-pity. Stop constantly convince what you poor thing. Believe it that you are not alone. Unhappiness goes after people and become even worse things. Cry and talk to your friends, but once is enough. Then it is time to lift head and wipe tears. Forget the past, on a bad day, and make of yourself, instead of poor little hero. Are you still strong enough to cope with such a situation? You still will not be broken by anything. And think about the fact that what does not kill you makes you stronger. So, how strong do you feel? Find the power in yourself. It is obviously difficult to stand during the depression on your feet. You must do it not to drown in it. Think of something that brings you joy and gives energy. Is it nature? Well, select into the woods for a long walk and think of a happy future that awaits you. Visualize your success, love, or whatever you need to perfect happiness. Are you excited about music, dance, or sport? Just dance to your home or subscribe for a dance course. Do anything that will bring you joy and do it until you feel like you have sufficient energy to stand up on your feet and fight against depression. Be positive. The strength of positive thoughts has been known for many years. Start it, thus apply. Why every morning instead of that awful day awaits you, tell what it will be for you, a wonderful and successful week. How do you want to make you nice things happen when you do not believe it yourself? Imagine that you are a magnet and attracts people and events. If the mood is negative, nothing wrong with you, although not surprising, but it will stick to you just same old pitch. It is time to change the lovely person, because thus far reached. Look forward to every beautiful day, you will see that your mood miracles. Learn to love your life. Lack of confidence is perhaps most closely connected with a lack of self-love. Learn to love, but not the second, but yourself. Learn to believe in your abilities, your goodness, intelligence, skill, and beauty. If you do not trust yourself, how do you want others to do so? If you come to the interview with the idea that you are unable to get the job, how can you get it? If you think you are ugly, how do you want to achieve that someone will love you? Keep in mind that lack of confidence surrounding senses in your speech. It is not enough hypocritically pretend that you are world champion. Become him at least for yourself. Only then will others believe. A hand on heart, do you really think that your work, love, or anything good not worthy? After overcoming a heavy gauge, bad periods at work or other life's failures, it is difficult to accept advice and encouragement of others. Although a few hours you may like the idea of you, over time, may fall again in spirit and paranoia will come again. Read encouraging books, advice, and soak up the positive thoughts several times a day. You will see that after a while you need it, because self-esteem and positive mood will already be in your head. 9 things that make happy people. To be less stressed. People's lives become happier at the moment when they decide to do so. Take the second. For fast relief of stress, put a few breaks, pause a moment and think about the following. 1. Understand whatever you are planning to achieve and why you are doing it. Lack of focus creates stress. And when we talk about personal failure, the problem is lack of focus, not lack of time. Everybody gets the same 24 hours in a single day and 7 days a week. Every time you want to accomplish something great, you have to keep all your intentions clear. Stay focused and be sure that you are aware of what you want exactly, and that is everything you wanted and why. Nobody can achieve your goal if you do not know what the goal is. 2. Do less, with an exclusive focus on all that is important. The basis of self-productivity means carrying out essential things instead of urgent cases. In other words, do the most important first. Focus on the essence and get rid of the rest. 3. Think about progress, not perfection. Do not be alarmed over perfection. Never reach it. Alternatively, start concentrating on the advancements that you have already made and the advancements that you are planning on achieving today. Progressiveness is definite or involuntary. Each process in growing personally demands hard work and surrender. Each step is a part, still improving, still rising, life path. Each step on the way is like an achievement that has to be enjoyed and rejoiced. It is known that you can reach the ultimate perfection, the peak, but if you are celebrating a trip, this truth can only add more happiness and fame to the output. 4. Clean your inner self every single night. Similar to your body's regular cleansing needs and care, since it can get soiled every day, a thorough cleaning also needs your heart, because you get hurt every day by people. They forget your presence, they snub your words, and they trample on you and reject everything you say or feel. However, if you choose these people to forgive and forget these things every night, it cleanses your heart. The next morning you wake up refreshed and without negativity. Carry old sorrows, thoughts, and excitement to each new day. 5. Delete the false ideas. You must be able to think in different ways rather than you can handle proceedings in this way. At the back of every harsh and stressful feeling is a false idea. Before you suffer the idea, but the idea is starting to worry. The minute you realize that the idea is not true, you will notice that there is no suffering. The moment you start changing your thoughts, you can change your life. 6. You have to expect some kind of stress, learn to accept it and should let it go. Most important roads that pave way to the greatest of positions are generally difficult, when you have to overcome difficulties. Stress is just simply a barricade between two calm and composed gardens. A garden where you presently are and where you could be in the future. You need to measure the wall that stands in your way, to collect lessons until after you will leap over it, before you embark and descend the other side. You lose only when you never climb up or when you will never release. 7. Be caring and sympathetic with your body. Good training is the finest stress buster or stress reduction, and healthy and fit physique is the finest expression of fashion. Striving for ideal fitness is a voyage, an ongoing battle, and lifestyle. It is a gradual process, where the intensity of each exercise, daily meals, and several years' patience is what is needed. However, as you already know, even the most arduous and time-consuming voyage starts with the first step. It is all about how to do this step and proceed every day. Commit to everyday uninterrupted exercise, the top 30 to 60 minutes, and adequate nutrition. 8. Every day, treat yourself to some pleasure. Be right at the forefront of your must-do list. You can never find a better person on earth who has earned your care, concern and thoughts more than yourself. If you are able to love yourself unconditionally, then you will notice that everything else goes down into place. So, treat yourself to something every day. Offer yourself anything that is unique, such as your enjoyment, interesting discussion, meditation, and reading quietly, hours of work on what is your passion, promenade, etc. You deserve it. 9. Simplify. Organize, and do not worry. Keep your space tidy and not occupied schedule. Create a reserve with a soft landing area, wide-brimmed mistakes, and room for thinking and breathing. You certainly have the chance to explore alternatives to happiness every single day. Bonus chapter: 10 small habits that steal your happiness and love from your life. You become what you repeatedly do. If your habits do not help you, they will hurt you. Here are some examples of bad habits that strip your joy, in case you allow them to do so. 1. Focusing on the events of someone else's, but not to your own. Do not settle for victory tales of someone else and how well it develops for them, because then you will surely not remember to write your own story. Your story and breathe life into it. You possess everything you require to make you achieve and transform into someone you are proud of. When you resolve to take charge of your story, start to happen around you amazing things. This means less consume and more to form. It means not allowing others to think, talk, and decide for you. It signifies the aspects of understanding to revere and make use of personal opinions, ideas and intuition. If you are looking to make your story to surpass all records, you must clear the way. Get rid of people and activities that you are stealing time and live in you, and choose the ideas that allow you to fly out. Their secret desires and your highest goals keep near your soul, and pay attention to these each day. If you honestly concern yourself about what you perform and honestly work on that, there is almost nothing that you could not prove. 2. Waiting for the right moment. Do not be fooled by invention of the perfect moment. Moments are not perfect, are only such of them as you do yours. So many people wait until the right one is a constellation of planets and stars, to be finally able to do it. Why they are here. Perfect instant, the right opportunity and the perfect feeling of balance, etc. Wake up. Perfection is a myth. It does not exist. Your talent to nurture and seek your most ability is exactly proportional to your readiness to perform, despite the fact that things are not perfect. You fail so that you can find the right moment, however, instead of realizing to see and make use the less perfect moments perfectly. 2. Working for something more than just a paycheck. Working without enthusiasm or passion is prison. And even if you are super excited about your work, you must be at least interesting. When you create a lifestyle where your work is suffering every day, just so you can pay your bills, and so that your lifetime wish that you had someone else's work. Think about it. This is your life, and your work will fill up your life completely. It is not all just about money. It is about you. Ignore the speech of others, especially those who say, "Let not the result of your work say who you are." Turn it and say to yourself, "I will work on what will explain who I am." When it who you are explains a bit of work you do, your work will be meaningful for you. 4. Lasting feeling of hatred. As once said Martin Luther King Jr., darkness will not pull you out from darkness. Only light and brightness can achieve that. Hate will not pull you out from hate. It can do only love. When we stew hate in each of us, so that eventually destroy us all good, it assumes control over us. Forget the reason we hate, the things we hate and who we hate. Simply hate just because of hatred. And then, naturally, we start hating each other. Everything and everyone who hate permanently hires in your head and heartpiece locations. So if you want out of your mind someone or something to get, store the hatred. Instead, disconnect, move on, and do not look back. 5. Keeping of concerns and fears. One day, when you turn back on your beautiful life, you will realize that almost every concerns and fears never became real, had no foundation. So why does not wake up and do not realize it right now? At a time when you turn back on the past years, do you realize how many chances for happiness just because you destroy unnecessary fears and negativity? And although the fact you cannot do anything, you can still do something with those opportunities that are yet to come. You will find that some things need just to let go, simply because they benefit your heart and soul. Let them go. Do not put shackles around their own ankles. It is amazingly simple to appreciate more out of living at this moment. regardless of the situation. It depends only on how to let go those layers of nonsense that will benefit and live. Leave all your concerns and fears, your anger and your envy, your need always to have the right to control others. Let go your conceit, and you desire to get everything done your way. Underneath all these nonsense, live happy and productive person. When you dispose of these deposits and simply appreciate all that which is, to live can be amazingly completing. 6. Thinking about difficulties. Bad day is just a bad day. It is nothing more. Bad times will certainly influence the situations in which they work and live, but do not let it affect the person you are and the place you are going. Observe difficulties and adjust to give them, but do not make them into something more than they are. Each day brings about different lessons and different opportunities. There is certainly a path, which you can make a way, and have chosen. Step forward. Events can be scary and some even unbearable, but always have a choice. If not when and how, can endure and move forward. 7. Repeated searching for unstable satisfaction. There are two types of satisfaction, volatile and persistent. Unstable satisfaction comes from things like material comfort, while remaining stable is achieved through personal development. At first glance, it may be difficult to distinguish which is which, but over time, it becomes very visible. Lingering satisfy fair good times and bad times, because during that time, your mind remains confident and balanced. On the other hand, when the environment can change, your mind literally blown to pieces by the best material comfort will not make you happier for longer periods. 8. Do all major changes at once. You should start changing the world by making small changes in yourself. Make a huge change right is mostly very difficult, and the method of trying is very stressful. On the other hand, immediately change and improve a small number of lives are not only possible, but it is also very easy. Simply, focus only a single person at first and then begin with the person who is nearest and dearest to you. To change the thinking or mood of the person, at times, you must make changes to the thought process and spirits of people who are around her. For example, if you will make laugh one person, her or his laughter infects those around this person. Such a harmless way, you can reach the masses and all without you stresses and try to do the impossible. 9. Being with a person who pains you. Sometimes you just move away from individuals, and it is not in view of the fact that they do not matter to you, but because it does not find you. When someone repeatedly hurts, accept it as a fact that them to you guys. It is hard to accept, but it is necessary to adopt. Do not try to impress or convince them. Do not miss even a second more to find something happen. There is nothing that requires proof. 10. Overestimated importance of physical attraction. Infatuation by someone just because of how the person looks externally. It is as if you have chosen your favorite food by color, which is not to your liking. It does not make sense. Rather, it is the intangible, invisible, unexplained feature, which causes long-term appeal. Similar to a few people prefer the aroma of mint and a second turn more smells the intoxicating cinnamon, there is something also indescribable, magnetic force which appeals to you, that certain qualities of individuals, locations and things. I hope you enjoyed reading this list just how I enjoyed its creation. Bonus chapter from the book, Be Happy. How to Let Go. http://www.amazon.com/happy-making-journey-uplifting-ebook/d p/b00f233vtm. Things you need to know about letting go. With no sugarcoating, it is hard to let go of, basically, anything. Anything from both sides of the pole, whether good or bad, will always take mental and emotional effort. When you let go of something, that something had surely been a part of your life, and letting go of it means your life will never be the same, no matter how small or big of an impact it had on you. Look at the loss. The first step to recognize something is to always look at it. Most people say you should never look at the past and just look ahead, but there are instances in life when you need to do so. This is one of them. Take time to reminisce whatever it is that you have lost. Do not suppress the pain or the loneliness, because you will need to feel that for a while. It is important to be aware of that heavy feeling in your chest in order that you realize you no longer want to feel that way soon. Take pressure off your thoughts. Never hold back any emotion or fight your feelings. Just relax and free your thoughts. The more you fight the emotion, the more it controls you and let it have the power over you. As soon as you relax your grip of something, it falls out of your hand on its own. Do not put pressure on yourself. If you feel sad, explore that feeling and do not wear a mask and show the world that you are fine. It is never your obligation to be okay all the time. Remember that. Have a good cry. There's no right place or right time for a good cry, because you will never know when the sudden flashback of memories or the urge to cry will come. You may be in a bus, on your way to work. It doesn't matter. Do not hold the tears back for any reason, because at this point, you deserve a good cry. It will make you feel better. Scientifically, crying can balance your mood and alleviate stress. It could initiate the release of the endorphins or the feel-good hormones. It will also remove toxins and wastes in your body. As you remove those, might as well remove the throbbing ache in your system. Call a shoulder to cry on. Most of us never want to vent out to anyone and end up bothering them. But each one of us goes through a hard time, and it would not make you less of a person to admit that there are things you cannot go through alone. Talk to your mom or beep a friend or whoever it is that you are at ease with. Never hesitate. Assuredly, they will be more than glad to help you with this tough time. They may not solve your problem, but they will help you feel better. Sublimation of energy. Instead of spending the whole day in your cold dark room and drowning in your own thoughts, do something productive. Most people who go through this would make themselves busy by cooking for their loved ones or doing general cleaning at home. Look for something that will make you forget the bad stuff for a while, whether it is something that had always been a hobby or something you wanted to do for so long. You can try gardening, do a movie marathon with friends, or just read books. Do things that could take your thought into something else for a while. Just breathe. It is also good to escape for a while and take a break from all of the things that remind you of what you have lost. Give yourself some time to just breathe. Bring your thoughts together for a while. Realize that it is not the end of the world, that there are still more to come. Also, do not come into thinking that when you come back, everything will be better. You will still come back to the same situation, and you will have to face the situation. What you can do is to come back stronger and tell the world that you refuse to be defeated. Quit judging yourself. There is absolutely no point of blaming yourself out of anything that had happened. Stop telling yourself over and over that if you had just did something differently, things won't turn out this way. Stop blaming yourself for things you failed to do. I hate to tell you this, but there is nothing you can do to undo things. No amount of effort can bring back the past. You are already hurt. You are already feeling the pain. Do not aggravate what you are feeling by pointing finger at the person in the mirror. It won't help. Break free from hoping. Stop waiting and hoping that someone, the thing you have lost, will come back to you. You will never know if you are waiting for nothing. The more you get your hopes up, the more disappointment can get into you. Realistically speaking, there is always a chance that the thing you lost may come back to you, but that thought will never be healthy to hold on to. There are so many things you should hope for, but this is not one of them. Burn the bridges. A bridge that is broken is best burned. It cannot lead you to another side, but instead, it will only set you on repeated failed attempt. It will only lead you nowhere. Cut all the connections that may link to anything that can hurt you. Be kind enough to yourself by deleting that one text message of lies or putting that letter full of broken promises to trash. Stay away from negativity. You have been seeing the glass half empty. You are stranded in a dark tunnel and refusing to look for the light at the end of it. There is always something good out of everything that happens to us. We just have to look for it. If you have lost a job, see the situation as a chance of finding a better career where you can express yourself more and experience fulfillment. If you have lost a loved one, look at all the people who are still there. They may never take the place of the person who had left, but, for sure, they could fill in the empty space. No regrets. Any regret after anything is senseless. You are stressing yourself by feeling something that will never help you and is very unproductive in all ways. Do not spend too much time on bad memories and wishing none of them had happened, that day you bid farewell or that day you last talked to someone. Remember that there are also good memories and it had helped you become who you are and the way you are right now. You should never regret the person that you become, never. Live today. Do not spend so much time dwelling on the past. Focus on where you are today. Look around you and appreciate what you still have. You should not take them for granted just because you are clinging on something that is already gone. Wake up in the morning with the anticipation that something good is about to happen. Do the things you love to do and never give up on anything, especially yourself. Be a better person, a tougher one that keeps on fighting no matter how the world tries to knock you down. Embrace the future. Welcome the thought that there are still more to come. As they say, when a door closes, another one opens. Stop looking at that closed door for so long. You don't want to miss when a new door opens for you. Drop the notion that you cannot be as happy or happier. We all know there is no truth to that. Do not delay anything good that will happen in the future by dwelling so much in the past. Look forward for the things that are yet to come. Be clear with yourself. Don't cheat on yourself out of anything. Just because someone said you have to do this or feel that doesn't mean that is exactly what you should show. Stop covering up your emotions for other people. Most importantly, do not tell yourself that you are letting go just because the world tells you it is already time to move on. Go with your own pacing. This is a personal battle and no one could tell you how you should feel and what you should do in a particular time. Be honest on yourself because with everything you are going through, you owe it to you. Always let healing continue once you started the process of healing. Never let it stop. You may not feel any better than yesterday, but, believe me, you are. As you open your eyes slowly, you will see that your days are getting brighter and brighter. Just go on with it. As you continue to heal, you will find that you are thinking sharper, your judgments are more reliable, your concentration is improving, your view of the world is less self-preoccupied, and your feelings are more alive. You will feel stronger and more independent. Conclusion. In this book, you have found out that it is very important to live in the present time and to love your life. You do not have to deal with what happened in the past and what will happen in the future. You cannot influence the past, and future just waits for you. Chapters of this book offer to you several tips and tricks on how to start loving your life. For many people, it is very important to learn this, because some of them forgot to be happy of details in their lives, and some of them did not even know how to be happy of their life. In this book, you found steps on how to love your life, how to be happy, and how to gain the maximum from your life. Now you know that it is very easy to find happiness in your life. But at first, you will need to change something in your life. If you really want to become happier and if you really would like to love your life more than anything in this world, are you willing to change something on yourself? Love every moment of your life and live in the way that you will never regret anything from your life. Recommended reading: How to Heal a Broken Heart and Stop the Pain. This is a book about dealing with a breakup. At some point in one's life, they will go through the pain of a broken heart. While some people seem to move on from this quite quickly and easily, others have a more difficult time. This book was designed to help anyone that is currently struggling with a breakup. Male or female, going through a breakup is not easy. This book will help you through the entire process of mending your broken heart and moving on with your life. In this ebook, you will find different steps of dealing with your broken heart. It is important to follow these steps so that you do not fall into a deeper depression. Many people fail to take the necessary steps to deal with their broken heart and end up falling into a deep depression. Depression is not something to mess around with, and it is important to understand the signs of depression and when professional help is needed. There are several important signs to look for when considering grief and depression. This is also discussed in the book. http://www.amazon.com/heal-broken-heart-stop-pain-ebook/d-p/b00grhattrg. Stop hurting and start living. How to move beyond the pain caused by others'. Failed relationships are always painful. Human as we are vulnerable to physical pain and emotional conflicts. And always, it is the emotional conflict that drives us to the edge. Physical pain is always tolerable. If it becomes too painful, there are a lot of pain relievers we can induce to stop the pain, if not reduce it. It's plain and simple. Physical pain does not linger. It stops when the wound starts to heal. Emotional pain, on the other hand, is something that tortures us from within. It hurts us in ways no physical wounds can. What's worse? There is no tangible medicine we can take or drink to ease the pain away. As painful as it is, we have no choice but to move on. We have to stop hurting and start living instead. The world will not stop evolving to wait for us. We need to realize that pain is inevitable, that it is an important part of our lives. It is human nature to feel and love, and consequently, it is also this very nature of man that makes us hurt. We are always affected in more ways than one because we are partly responsible. http://www.amazon.com/hurting-living-beyond-cause-others-ebook/d p/b00gx09fj8. One last thing. If you enjoyed this book or found it useful, I'd be very grateful if you'd post a short review on Amazon. Your support really does make a difference, and I read all the reviews personally so I can get your feedback and make this book even better. If you'd like to leave a review, then all you need to do is click the review link on this book's page.